My girl Asia Wilson and Las Vegas Aces, four-time league MVP, three-time champion, just inked the largest contract in WNBA history, thus making her the highest paid player in the WNBA. Welcome back, y'all. Hey, playoff time, guys. If you don't know, it's Please Excuse My Balls, brought to you by Dear Legacy Sports. It's your boy Kevin B. the Brand, and this is episode 21, and the playoffs are here. We cannot be more excited. We done fought through the regular season, whether you liked it or not, whether your team was doing good, not doing good, and things got crazy on you, but it's here. All that grind, all that hard work, we finally made it to the season that matters, the playoffs. Win or go home. Not like March Madness, only one win and you're done, but I'm talking about win your series or you go home. And for some, you might just be staying home as a number one, as a higher rated seed, right? The beauty of it, we're running into the beautiful time where it's spring's going into summer, and it's NBA playoffs straight through the summer, NHL playoffs straight through early summer. I think they end around the same time, or they might be quicker in NHL. I don't know. Call me crazy. But I had to break out our last championship hat, and remind you guys we're going on another championship run. Two out of the four teams are in the playoffs. I mean, we live in the playoffs. I know you guys are probably mad and sick of the Boston teams out here in the Massachusetts area, because all we do is get in the playoffs. Now, are we winning championships nonstop? No, but at least we get the chance. Some of y'all don't even have a fighting chance, but y'all be the loudest ones in the room, right? No Red Bull today. We're on Starbucks kick because it's a morning recording. I wanted to wait until, like, I was trying to wait it out, and I didn't look at the schedule. I was really trying to wait it out to see all the playing games be done and then go into the playoffs. But the playoffs start tomorrow. The last play-ins are tonight, and I'm like, all right, we waited long enough. So let's just jump right into this. Let's get a couple house cleaning items out the way, so that we can really break down the playoff situations that we got going on. So let's just jump right into the kickoff. The kickoff is where we got a couple headlines that we want to touch base on, you guys, with you guys, on what's going on in the worldwide of sports. A couple headlines that just jump right out at us. Doc Rivers is out as the head coach of Milwaukee. Milwaukee is literally about to be on their third or fourth coach in roughly about a span of 3 years, maybe. It's ridiculous how they're running through coaches, and they're still paying all these coaches at the same time too. So they have agreed. They mutually parted ways. The team and Doc Rivers, and Milwaukee will be covering his salary. I think he had one, if not two, more years left on that salary still. So now they go into a season, into an off season where Giannis is not happy. The team is not winning, and everybody's pointing fingers at everybody else. And now they need a head coach. I think they just brought in a new general manager, so let the head coaching begin. So far, there's only two head coaching positions that are out there. It's Milwaukee and who's the other team? They fired their coach mid-season, so there's two coaching vacancies left out there, guys. For those that are looking for head coaching work, maybe you have the potential of coaching Giannis. I don't know. I think that situation is coming to an end over there in Milwaukee. I think Giannis leaves this offseason. Too many weird stuff is happening. I think the only reason why Giannis wants to be a good guy. I've said this before. He wants to play the guy. He doesn't want to be the villain to have the city mad at him or people talking about him on social media because he chooses to leave Milwaukee and ask for a trade. But let's be completely honest. You brought the city a championship. You've been a nonstop, a great competitor for the city. You have opportunities to win. You grew there. They drafted you there. But now it just doesn't work. At some point, you have to realize, hey, it's not working for neither one of us. Trade me, get as much as you possibly can for me. Send me to a contender. Don't fucking send me to Washington or some craziness like that. Send me to a contender where I could still contend to win for championships, and then you guys get some players or picks, whatever it is that you guys could work out in to your favor, right? So we'll see what happens during this offseason. I do believe that Giannis walks. If he doesn't, then I don't get it. It is what it is. In other news, in the NBA, the NBA and NBPA rules on Luka and Cade is eligible for season honors awards. Only Anthony Edwards was denied. But let's be completely honest. Cade Cunningham should not even have to put in an appeal. Somebody should have just said, you know what, we're just gonna waive that one. The man technically played in 65 games. Just one game didn't count because he only played for 5 minutes. But he was in the game, suited, ready to go, and he was diving for a ball and then got injured. And then he had a collapsed lung, had to leave, and then he rushed back to play. It wasn't like he was like just lingering around and not playing in the games. So I felt as though like he should have got it. I'm glad that they got that one. The Luka one. I think they waived him a game or two to get him to the 65 game threshold, because he had the birth of his second daughter, and she was born in Slovenia, so he put in the appeal to get the 65 game. I mean, it was one game difference, so him and Cade got it. Anthony Edwards, on the other hand, he was off by 4 games. 4 games, buddy. Come on. It's like I heard somebody said it's like when you're taking the test and it's off of a curve and you're like right there at a C. Hey, I got a 68. Can I get a 70? And you're arguing and all that with the professor, but in reality, you're more of like on a 63 and you're trying to get a 70. Anthony Edwards. But he's glad that they listened to it. They took it serious and. They denied it. So no postseason, no season-ending awards for Anthony Edwards this year. The good thing is it's not a contract year for him, right? None of this stuff really matters until it really. I mean, obviously, you want all the accolades that you could grab while you're in your playing career, but to be honest, it counts when it's money time. Making all NBA, how many MVPs you won, yada yada yada. It ties into your Supermax situation. So that's what I got on that one. And y'all know, if I could do more, I would do more. My girl, A'ja Wilson, and Las Vegas Aces full-time champion, four-time league MVP, 3-time champion, just inked the largest contract in WNBA history, thus making her the highest paid player in the WNBA. After these new deals have come out and the new CBA agreed to the new Supermaxes, my girl A'ja Wilson just signed a Supermax deal for 3 years, $5 million. What? And I guess the way it's gonna work is she'll get the full max 1.4 that they giving Supermax players this year, and then she has a 20% escalator every year thereafter that will make her reach the $5 million. And yes, that is all fully guaranteed. So shout out to my girl A'ja. Nobody deserves it more than A'ja Wilson does. Yeah, like I said, it is more to what I just said. A 4-time MVP, league MVP, 3-time champion. Like the Aces go how A'ja goes, right? And I don't think there's a better ambassador for the game of the WNBA. And you're talking about in as the WNBA is growing, A'ja Wilson, Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, Arika, what's my girl's name that was on Connecticut Sun, but now she just signed somewhere else too. But whichever, the faces that are coming into this league, especially this last crop of NBA draft kids that just came in, the UConn girls, we have stars coming into this league, and if they play it right. Listen, it's gonna take years before you get to the men's type money. They're running away with the $50 to $60 million. We're almost at a point where it is gonna be an $80 million player per year. But to go from, a league that was struggling and the players demanding to get paid, which they deserve and they earned, to now be making $5 million over 3 years, like well earned, well deserved. Again, shout out to Asia Wilson. Shout out to the Las Vegas Aces for locking her up for another 3 years, fully guaranteed. I love that. Those two words right there in any contract in any sports, fully guaranteed. That means no matter what, I'm getting paid. Okay. The NFL is one of those leagues where it's, it's not. They'll give you. You always see these players sign these massive deals for $140 million over 4 years, but what's the guarantee? Because the guarantee is going to front load. Majority of that is probably going to from 1 to 2 year, first 2 years, so that they could cut bait whenever they want to, and they don't owe the rest of the salary. Right. So again, shout out to Asia Wilson on getting her bag. In other news, Rory wins the Masters. No, wrong one. Why? What's going on here? Jesus, Weezus. Wrong buttons. Stop doing crickets. You're not it. No, that's a cat. Nope. Jesus. You know what? I'm going to stick to what I know. How do I stop this? I'll just stick to the horns, guys. I'm going to stick to the horns. Rory wins the Masters. He is now a 6-time major champion, and with 30 PGA Tour wins, 42 wins overall globally. He became the 4th player to win the Masters back-to-back, the only 4 players in history of the Masters to ever do this. Before him was Jack Nicklaus, Sir Faldo, and Tiger Woods. Now Rory just jumped into that situation. But it wasn't like he just won it by a landslide now. Scotty was making a push. And if he didn't miss that birdie on 17, I think we would have been looking at a totally different situation, because I don't know if you really want to be taking that chance to play a playoff game against Scotty. I know last year, again, you won it against Justin Rose in similar matter. It got close to the end and Justin made a rush for it, and then y'all ended up playing in the playoffs. You ended up winning that one. But the way Scotty was playing, I was nervous. I was nervous watching it, because I was like, yo, if he gets his 3rd birdie in a row, that puts the pressure onto Rory, because now you have to par or better in order to make sure that you secure this win. And he didn't get the birdie. It came this close, guys. It came this close. I think it stayed by the lip and it didn't fall down. And right then and there, you saw it on his face and everybody knew it. Right then and there, Rory essentially, without having a meltdown on 17-18, literally won that matchup. But congratulations to Rory once again for winning a Masters back-to-back. He was very emotional. He got to celebrate it with his parents that were there this time. They wasn't there last time. This is the things that you work for, right? The majors, like in tennis, this is their Super Bowls, and the Masters was the one last year that he couldn't get past to finish the career Grand Slam, which is winning all the 4 majors. For some reason, he just couldn't get through, and last year he did it, and then this year he came out swinging and he held it wire to wire to win. So congratulations to Rory on that one. And that's what I got for you guys on this week's headlines. Not a lot going on because, everybody getting ready for playoffs, and some things I just decided to leave down below in the next segments. Speaking of in the next segments, let's go ahead and jump right into the king of sports. This is where we cover the world of NFL, baby. Just a couple of headlines to go on around here. We're just days away from the NFL draft at this point. April 23rd. This upcoming Thursday is night 1 of the draft, first round. it shouldn't be any crazy surprises at number one. The draft really starts at number two, and we'll see how everybody else decides to play their hands. I'm curious to see how many trades happen in the first round. Who's in love with what? Who's not in love with who? Um, I'm still trying to figure out because I've been saying it this whole time when it comes to the New England Patriots, I hope you're really in love with whoever you're trying to draft at 31 because obviously we can't trade for AJ Brown right now. AJ Brown if he gets traded right now, it'd be a $43 million cap hit to the Philadelphia Eagles. If he's traded after June 1, it's only a $60 million cap hit. The math, nobody's going to move AJ Brown right now. I believe the Patriots are still in the running for him if the Philadelphia does decide to move on from him. I don't see how it's just one of those situations like a Giannis. I don't see how it stays the same, but money talks, and technically you are still under contract, and we'll see what happens from there, right? So it'll be interesting to see who's trading up, who's trading out, who's trying to build more draft capital. And it'll be interesting. Thursday night, April 23rd, NFL draft. Let's see what else is going on here. The NFL is starting to onboard potential replacements for the referees. The NFL is not playing this year, guys. They are not playing. They are still in negotiations with the referee union, and they still not coming to terms with anything. And I reported, and a lot of people have been reporting, and we talked about it here, how the NFL is not going to wait till the last minute like they did last time and bring in these replacement refs. And then we saw what disaster happened a few years back in that situation. So they're being proactive on this one, and they're literally onboarding referees right now. It gives them plenty of time to train them up. We're talking about we're in April right now, so there's plenty of time to train them up. Obviously, they're not going to be NFL quality referees, but I mean, some of those NFL quality referees will blow in games. So what's the difference now, right? So we'll see how it all plays out. They're still in negotiations. Last thing that I saw is said that they were far away from terms. So we don't know how long it's going to last. So good for the NFL for making sure that they're ahead and not operating from behind. Last bit of news that I have for you guys in the kickoff is not the kickoff. The king of sports is Diana oh my God. Why can't I say her name? Diana Russoni is resigning a week after photos of her and Vrabes kicks off an investigation with the NFL and her offices. Okay, so at first, guys, I was like, "Oh, what's the freaking big deal?" And I forgot everybody's married, but according to both of them, nobody really. They're only showing one side of the thing. Apparently, there was about 6 or so people that was there hanging out poolside. This was before the owners' meeting started. I seen the pictures. Did it look a little? But you can manipulate anything that you want. When you're hiding in the bushes and you're zooming in on one little section and you caught them at the right angle at the right time. Listen, I don't know what those people was doing. That's between them and their spouses. But in order to preserve her name and not keep dragging this out, her company, The Athletic, came out and backed her in the beginning, but it seems like they're walking a different line now that is becoming bigger than what it is. And in order to preserve her name and her dignity, she said, you know what? I'm just going to walk away and let this thing die down. Let the investigation show that there was nothing here in the first place, and take it from there. Power to her taking control of the narrative. Again, whether it's true, whether it's not true, it's not my business. It's between you and your spouse. I think in today's society, we love to get in other people's business and then be the moral police and all that. I'm not here to be the moral police. I got my own problems to deal with. I'm not going to sit here and cast judgment on people that I don't know the truths. Now, if I know the truths, and investigations come out and it proves that this was that, again, it's still not my business. That's between you and your spouse, but it's something to talk about. Right now, it's not nothing to talk about. Some creep had a camera and he snapped a bunch of pictures and he caught the right perfect angle, and that's what I have for you right now. It is what it is. Uh, I was having this conversation with somebody else, and it was like, "Oh, you're just saying that because Mike Vrabel and New England Patriots." I was like, "No, that's my stance on a lot of stuff. Um, just because people have high profile jobs or they're celebrities, they're still entitled to their privacy and their own business. Yes, they put their lives out there, but it's not for everything for pure consumption. Mike Vrabel is a coach. Diana is a reporter, and I'm thinking about like where it's just dumb. We're just over stimulated and want more of celebrities and all that other stuff to the point where anything that we see on social media is law. No, it's not. It's not. Half the stuff that you see on social media is fraudulent news anyway. So we're gonna move on from that. Let's go ahead and jump right into the hunt. Again, guys, you know how I feel about the hunt. This is where we cover Major League Baseball. Well, it's way too early to be covering baseball, but I will say this: although the Red Sox are still below 500, they are showing some fight, going 5-5 in the last 10 games. They're now 7-11 record on the season. That's 18 games, guy. 18 games out of 182. Do you really think I'm going to be panicking right now? Those that follow the game of baseball, like live, breathe, and eat it, they're probably in panic mode right now. But you're talking about 4 games behind the division leaders, Tampa Bay Rays. All it takes is a couple collapses on one side, and you get hot. That's 182 games. You get hot at the right time, and everybody forgets about this. Remember, the sky was falling when the Celtics went 0-3. And they're now the number 2 seed, and now the favorites to come out of the East, if not win it all. They still got the Thunder winning it all. I think the Spurs have the second best odds to win it all, and then the Celtics right behind them. So the sky's not falling, guys. I'm looking out my window right now. Yep, the sky's still there. Nothing's falling out of it. There's a bunch of helicopters. I don't know if there's military training going on or something, but I've been hearing a lot of helicopters these past few days. That's the only thing that's in the skies. The sky's not falling because the Red Sox are 11-7. So we're gonna move on from that. Cool, because we got playoffs to talk about. Let's go beyond the lines real quick. This is where we cover the game of golf and tennis. I already reported to you guys. Rory won his Masters. 4th player to do it back to back in the history of the Masters. It was a great tournament, guys. I know a lot of people are not in the game of golf. When I bring it up, people will be like, "Wait, what?" They don't see it. I love it. I love the game of golf. I could sit there and watch. I could watch golf way more than I could watch baseball. It's more exciting to me watching golf than baseball. Baseball is, when it's not the playoffs and there's not something on the line, it's boring. I'm glad that they put the pitch counts and all that stuff to speed the game up a little bit. But like with golf, it's like, yo, that ball decides to go, that wind takes it and it goes left to right, and then all of a sudden it falls into the water. You're talking about there's suspense going. Especially with this last Masters. Rory had a 6-point lead. I'm saying point because I don't want to say the other words and have to play pause games and all that. He had a 6-point lead. Let's put it that way, right? And Scotty, being Scotty, the new Tiger, which I've been dubbing him for the past few years now, I feel as though Scotty Scheffler is the new Tiger. It's, if you let him be in contention and make it to the weekend, you better be blowing him out of the water because he's coming. And he showed you at this Masters. He just went on a run. And even though other people went on runs, Rory would always just pull away. But Scotty was just coming in. And it took the second to last hole for him to really put it to bed. And even then, if Rory does a mistake in the last 2 holes, we're talking about playoff and anything goes at that point. So moving on, a couple other news that's coming out of the world of the PGA. Well, not the world of PGA. It's actually coming out of the world of Live Golf, the rival league to the PGA. That, when I say the rival league, it's because a lot of players defected and went over to the Live tournament. A lot of people were up in arms about it. I was only up in arms because I like to see the best play the best. I don't want to question anything later on, right? Like, would this person have been hot, or would these people be winning if Rahm was still around, if Dustin was still around, if even if I don't like him like that, Bryson DeChambeau was still around. I mean, a lot of people defected to the Live, and granted, financial security is financial security. I'd be sitting here lying to y'all if somebody didn't come and dangle a bag in front of me the way they was dangling in front of some of these players. That's not getting guaranteed money. Yes, some of the top players left. John Rahm, Dustin, Bryson, and some of these guys, they were winning on the tour. But the money that there was offering in front of them with the guarantee, that's the difference. And that sparked a change in the PGA where they're slowly coming around. But like, to know that you're missing a cut and you're not getting paid for the week, like you put in all that work, all that effort, and you missed the cut, you should still be compensated. And you're racking in billions of dollars. Let's figure out a way to where like there's some type of incentive, even though if you missed the cut. I'm not talking about you getting hundreds of thousands of dollars, because the last place person that made the cut is making about 50K. We can't figure out a way where you put aside for the other 70 players that didn't make the cut, they make the same exact money. It doesn't matter if you number 17 or that didn't make the cut, or number 45 that didn't make the cut. You figure out the same way you layer it down. You put a couple $100,000 away at that pot. I mean, let's be completely honest. You win a tournament and you're making $2.4 million in first place. You mean to tell me we can't just give that person $2 million? That the $400,000 is going to hurt them that much? And you spread that $400,000 with the players that didn't make the cut. I'm pretty sure the person that won the tournament would not mind that, because they know in the future when I'm not winning, or if I have a bad weekend and I miss a cut, I know I'll make $10,000-$15,000 to make sure that my caddy's getting paid, my management is getting paid, my coach is getting paid, equipment. I don't think people realize it's like, until you win, you're paying fees to enter some of these tournaments. You're paying to fly. You're flying yourself. You're flying your equipment, your coaches, your managers, your caddies, all that stuff. And you still got to pay these people whether you make the cut or not, right? So it gets pretty expensive over time. So I hope that the PGA Tour, even with the news of what I'm about to do is coming out. I went on a tangent real quick, and I do apologize. I told you I get excited about golf. I'm way more excited about golf than some of these other sports. If you ask me, it's the NFL, it's the NBA, and then this is the PGA for me, hands down. Everything else, you get in where you fit in. But off my soapbox real quick. Monahan, I hope you get it right and you figure this thing out. Don't let this news distract you from actually taking care of the players, because where one failed, another can come around and possibly do what they tried to do with Live Golf. So Live CEO is staying silent over rumors of potential loss of funding from the Saudi group. So for those that don't know, Live Golf was a Saudi-backed group that came out and wanted to create their own tour, golf tour, and they would put on their own tournaments. They'd put up their own seed money, and they wanted to get the best of the best golfers that they possibly can. It created tension because some of our top golfers and mid-tier golfers. Listen, if you're a mid-tier to low-end golfer that's potentially maybe had made some top 10 finishes in your career, yes, defect. Go get that money, because some of the money that was being offered to some of these players, you're not gonna see in your career of a PGA Tour. You're not Rory. You're not Tiger making hundreds of $millions in tournament winnings and all these extra endorsements. If you want to know who's making money, to be completely honest, guys, when it comes to golf, and I noticed it the other day, look at the guys' polos, right? Rory, he's a Nike guy. He only has a Nike check on his polo. You don't see patches. You don't see anything else across him, because he's not taking on extra endorsements for patches to be worn while he's playing, right? Yeah, he has, and these guys, they have hat deals. They have clothing deals. They have bag deals. They have equipment deals. They're being paid to use some of this stuff, and some of them, they might not be getting paid by TaylorMade to use their equipment. TaylorMade is giving, their deal is to get equipment, and that alone saves you hundreds of thousands of dollars when you're on the pro circuit. You're talking about a good bag And these guys, they need multiple sticks, and they're changing out depending on where they're playing. They're changing out the irons to clubs to woods. You know what I mean? So a lot of this adds up. So when a group comes around and saying, "Hey, we're gonna guarantee you to come play over here for about 3 years. I'm gonna guarantee you about $700,000 upfront cash money." Some of these guys are never going to see that type of winnings in their careers, because if you're a mid-tier guy, you're only making, if you make the cut, 40, 50,000. And I'm lowballing it. Some of these numbers was like millions of dollars to come over. Tiger Woods was being offered 300, almost in the billions of dollars just to come over to play 2 seasons or whatever the case may be. But apparently they got tired of dumping money into this golf league and not seeing rate of return, right? And we all knew this was going to happen. The courses were easier. You could see it. They play one less day. The competition, even though some of the best players defected over there or whatever, but there's really no competition. It's team formats, which is kind of cool, but at the same time, it's like the courses are not challenging. The guys are not really, and we saw it this year, right? This year, some of the guys that came over from Live, they're struggling a little bit. Bryson didn't make the cut. Some of the other players, I mean, Hatton was in the top 10, I believe he was in, but no other no other Live golf player was that high this year. So we'll see what happens. They're saying that the 2026 season is going to happen as they have the funds and they're full steam ahead with the 2026 season. So they're very specific when they're talking and saying that the 2026 season is a go. 2026 season is a go. So in my mind, what that tells me is 2027 is in flux. Now you have a situation where all these golfers that defected, where do they go? Do they go into retirement? Because, some of these guys like Brooks and some of these guys that left, Patrick Reed and them that left over, left PGA to go to Live and then decided to leave Live and then come back to PGA. They had to get approved. I don't think that some of these guys if you didn't come before the league dismantles, then there should be some type. I seen one person said in an article that I was reading, they said they should make them go play on the Corn Ferry Tour for a year to earn their card back. There's got to be some type of repercussion, because a lot of these guys that stayed, and I'm not talking about the Rorys and them, I'm talking about the everyday golfer guys that are not winning tournaments all the time, that would have loved to take these type of paydays, but chose to stay with you. We have to find a way to where they're incentivized, and the guys that left and are now trying to come back. There's got to be some type of recourse, right? And okay, let's jump off of this because we got to get to NBA basketball. And WNBA had a lot of stuff going on also. So let's just jump over that. That's a conversation for later on. But we'll see if the Live Golf Tour survives or not. A lot of money going in. TV deals are not good. They only got that one deal with Fox, and yeah, sure. Moving on. Tiger's team is fighting the subpoena that he received on his prescription records. This is stemming back from his last DUI situation. I guess they're requesting they subpoenaed his records for his prescription pills. That's what I got for that. This week, RBC Heritage is going to kick off. Actually, I said this week. It kicked off yesterday in Harbortown Golf Links in Hilton Head, South Carolina. If you play golf, guys, get down to Hilton Head. Hilton Head has some amazing golf courses. Every time I'm down in Savannah, Georgia, I cross that bridge and I go get around it at Hilton Head. I love the courses. They're challenging. Challenging enough to make you feel good about yourself when you score good, and challenging enough to make you feel good about yourself because you're not a pro and I didn't do good, right? So, but they're great courses. I love playing out there. Right now, the current leader is Ludwig Arberg. He's a -8 going into today, and I'm pretty sure the people have gone out already today. So let's see. Oh, we got a tie at the top. Keegan Bradley is now tied at the top where through 9, he's at a -8 also. Ricky Fowler is right behind him, tied for 3rd with Harris English and Kurt Kitayama. Victor Hovland is right there and tied for 3rd. So there's some big names that are climbing this leaderboard right now. I know Scotty's playing this week. Where's he at? Tied for 22 right now through 3. At a -4. Colin Morikawa is -4 through 5, even on the day. So Shane Lowry's playing. Oh, man, a lot of people are playing. Daniel Berger, Sam Burns, JJ Spawn, Jordan Spieth goes out later on this afternoon. Max Homa is on the course right now. Minhoo Lee goes out this afternoon. Yeah, there's a lot of Jason Day is on there, even on the day. Oh my God, Justin Thomas. But he's coming. Justin Thomas is coming back from major surgery. It's gonna take a while for him to get his groove back. But he goes out this afternoon. He's a +5 from yesterday. Tony Finau, you're not coming off of no injury. What's going on? +4. Tommy Fleetwood +3. All right. So yeah, if you guys want to catch some of these tournaments, I think the first 2 days are usually on the Golf Network, and then the next 2 days over the weekend after the cuts, it's usually turns into morning half is on the PGA network, and then they transfer over to it's usually ABC, NBC, one of them. Just look it up. In the world of tennis, the only thing I got for you guys is I noticed when looking for stuff, the French Open purse just increased by 10%, y'all, to a total of $72.1 million in American. I didn't write down the euro number. Men and women singles champs to receive $3.25 million for winning. The runner-up will get $1.6 million. The semi-losers will get $875,000, and the first-round losers will make $100,000 for playing in the French Open this season. Shout out to that. I love seeing when people who are organizations and tours and all that stuff that are making billions of dollars off of the product that they're putting out there, and the product is the players. We buy the tickets, we tune in to watch some of these players, and they're pouring it back into the players, right? It's good. Yeah, when I see 72 million to go out to the players, I could only imagine how much they raked in. But anyways, that's what I got for you guys in the world of Beyond the Lines segment. Let's go ahead and jump right into Campus Legends. Not much to really talk about there outside of the draft, but I put that intentionally inside the WNBA section. So right now, the only 2 headlines that I got for you guys in the Campus Legends, where we cover the college ranks, football and basketball. The NCAA on the football side is starting to look to start the season a little bit earlier, and they're going to label it a week 0, starting before Labor Day weekend in 2027, which will make it a 14-week season, 14-week, 12-game season. This is going to come into play for more teams to play a little bit, potentially put a better competitive product out there, especially with them trying to expand to a 12-team playoff. Expand past a 12-team playoff. We'll see how this all works out. The NCAA's, ever since the NIL stuff started going on, they've been trying to reinvent and think of new ways, especially when you got to play the players, right? Before you didn't have to pay the players. It was free labor. Now there's no longer free labor. So now you got to actually come up with ways to keep generating funds to put it back into the program outside of just boosters. Other news, ex-Michigan football head coach avoids jail time and gets 18-month probation instead. He was facing jail time. The judge decided to not give him any jail time and told him, don't squander away this gift that I gave you. She said it verbatim too, according to the reports. I don't like sending people to jail, but that don't mean I'm not going to send them to jail. So this is your one. So you better act accordingly. And that's what I got for you guys on Campus Legends. Not much going on. Football's wrapped up. Basketball's wrapped up. Spring ball starts soon. spring football will be starting up soon, so we'll start seeing what's going on over there, how some of these teams are looking, but we really won't be paying attention until the season really kicks off. Let's just go ahead and jump right into the on ice segment where we cover the game of the NHL, a game that I don't understand, but I know I love my Bruins, and I know I talk shit when they start losing. They did close out the season with a 2-game win streak, so that helped them out for me to stop talking shit about them. They did lock in the playoffs. It's official. The NHL playoffs begin tomorrow for Lord Stanley's Cup. My Bruins are in there. They made it. Thank you, Jesus. Here are the matchups that here are where the teams match up and where my Bruins land. In the East, so they do it tournament brackets. So you're going to hear me say number ones and number twos twice. I thought it was just like 1 through 8, but apparently not. So in the East, it's the number 1 Sabres versus the number 4 Bruins. Number 2 Tampa Bay Lightning is going to go against the number 3 Canadiens. Number 1 Hurricanes will then face off against the number 4 Senators, and the number 2 Penguins will face off against the number 3 Flyers. Out west, you're going to have the number 1 Avalanche. They'll be facing off against the Kings, the number 4 Kings. Number 2 Stars will face off of the number 3 Wild. Number 1 Las Vegas Golden Knights will then face off on number 4 Mammoth. I haven't even heard of this team. Is this a name change? What happened here? Anyways, number 2 Oilers are facing off against the number 3 Ducks, and that's the matchups that you have for the NHL playoffs. Who will win? Who will lose? I don't know, but I know my Bruins are in there. They finished with 100 points on the season with a record of 45, 27, and 10. They closed out this season, like I said, on a 2-game win streak. Before that, they was riding I think it was like a 5-game losing streak. Those games that I told you, like they would need a win, and knowing them, they're not going to win. Yeah, that's what they did. They ended up, where are you at? Teams, Bruins. These guys went... What is happening right now? I hate the way they list this. That's the postseason. Choo-choo. Yeah, they lost 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. Jesus Christ. 5 in a row they lost before they closed out with the 2 wins against the Columbus on the road and versus the New Jersey Devils at home 4-0. So yeah, we'll keep you posted and see how it all plays out. I'll say scores going through the weeks. I'm not watching any. So this is just gonna be what I see. I'm not even reading articles. I'm just giving you scores, guys. So let's go over to where I do pay attention. Let's go ahead and jump into the court vision. This is where we talk about the NBA and WNBA. Quick couple of headlines before we jump into the draft and people getting paid and then the playoffs in the NBA. In the headlines for court vision, Melo Ball was fined $35,000 for tripping Bam. It's listed as tripping, but sure, it was tripping because he pulled his foot. Guys, okay, so I was watching the game live. My opinion, things got heated and ball falls. Bam was on the way down. Some would say, if you're a Charlotte fan, they would say ball was reaching, but you was already on the floor. I don't know what you're reaching for. You grab Bam's ankle, pulled or swiped at it, and thus making Bam fall backwards. Bam would then fall on his tailbone. I don't know if that was an injury, but it said back, I believe. He would fall hard. Like, he fell very hard because there was nothing to catch his balance, even though he was on the way already down. But nothing caught his balance, and he hit the deck. And unfortunately, when he went down, he never returned to the game. And at that time when it was happening, it looked like it was going to be a fight. It still ended up being a fight to the end. But one would say, what would the game look like if Bam was still in there playing the game? I don't know. I had Charlotte winning the game regardless. I think it was a bad matchup for the Heat. The Heat got to figure out something. How they're presently constructed is not the way. they're gonna be a meddling mid-tier team. I don't see them ever getting past 6. Not in this Eastern Conference the way it's heavy right now. So yeah, he got fined $35,000 for tripping Bam in the game. He also got fined another $25,000 by the league for using profanity during the post game. Is that all that's it? That's all I got to be. All right, let's go ahead. That's all the headline news I got for you. Oh, I forgot. I put the other headlines in the kickoff because there wasn't much going on there. So let's just go ahead and jump right into what occurred this past a couple nights ago. I want to say, I don't know, when did the WNBA draft happen? It happened a couple nights ago, but the WNBA draft wrapped up. UConn's AZ Fudd goes number 1 to Dallas. She'll be joining a former teammate of UConn, Paige Beckers, who Dallas Wings had the number 1 draft pick 2 years back to back, and they picked UConn backcourt players. That's going to be a formidable backcourt if AZ could. If her game translates immediately into the WNBA, that's a dangerous backcourt right there. Dallas still got some stuff they need to tweak in order to get to the top to where they're trying to get to, but I like the direction that they're going. And it's not just because you're picking my UConn girls, but I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Dallas. But I'm liking what I'm seeing out of a lot of these teams. Is it going to be enough to take out my Asia Wilson and Las Vegas Aces? No. I'm losing my Connecticut Suns team, so I guess I'm just gonna sticking with my adopted team of Las Vegas Aces going into the season. They're gonna win it all. No, sir. We'll let it all play out. Let's stick to the draft though. TCU Olivia Miles went number 2 to the Minnesota Lynx. UCLA had 4 players go in the top 10. Lauren Betts went number 4 to the Washington Mystics. Gabriela Jaquez went to number 5 to the Chicago Sky. Kiki Rice went number 6 to the Toronto Tempo. I'm like, Tempo? Who the hell is Tempo? Toronto Tempo. Who else was pretty good that we want to mention? Oh, my girl Flau'jae Johnson out of LSU. She went number 8 overall to the Valkyrie, later to be traded to the Storm from Marta Suarez, who was drafted later on in round 2, I believe she was drafted. South Carolina Raven Johnson went number 10 to the Indiana Fever, and South Carolina's Tiana Latson went number 20 to the Sparks. And another notable UConn, Sarah Williams, went number 33 to the Suns, who was then later traded to the Storm right after. Those are the notable names that I picked out at the draft that I wanted to mention. Obviously, had to put my UConn girls out there. The South Carolina girls that drafted, I like those players. UCLA, I wanted to see how many players I was going to get drafted overall. I didn't see them 3 going back to back, and then 4 in the top 10. That was crazy. But winning a championship, that it changes your life for sure. In other news, NBA trade that you know, it means something to me because she used to play for my Connecticut Suns. Rakia Jackson was just traded. She was traded from my Suns over to the Sparks, and then now the Sparks are sending her over to the Sky for Ariel Atkins, and then gonna give Ariel Atkins a multi-year deal. I don't know what's going on. This is gonna be Rakia's 3rd team, but you let those that are in Detroit say it. They're waiting to see if they could get her to land in Detroit when they get their expansion team. That's the only NBA trade that sparked headlines for me. Let's go ahead and talk about who's getting paid with this new CBA. This new CBA agreement, guys. I know do not compare this to the men. Do not compare this to the men. If we do this, you'll realize that these women are finally getting some just due. They're not where they're supposed to be at, but the league is growing, and it's fair competition right now where they could grow with the league. And some of these players are getting paid, and I love it. Pay the product that's on the court. And for those of you guys that don't pay attention to the WNBA for whatever biases that you have, they don't play when the men play. It's a perfect time to go and watch you some WNBA games. Yo, some of these women are talented. talented. And you won't be disappointed going to some of these games. To be completely honest, if you go to Washington Wizards games and this past year Indiana Pacers games and all that other stuff, the Pacers will be better once they get healthy again. They got some holes to fill, but this year there was a bad product. And there's a lot of bad product teams in the NBA, and we pay to go see those. Why not pay to go see good product in the WNBA? Because they don't got no shithole teams like the Washington Wizards and the Utah Jazz and New Orleans Pelicans that are actively tanking right in front of our eyes, not trying to win. Let's focus on the women. I'm going to focus on the women right now. While I focus on the women's side of things, so let's talk about who's getting paid. Off of this new CBA agreement, 10 out of the 15 WNBA teams extended core qualifying offers to players since free agency started last week, once free agency opened up. What is a core qualifying offer? Core qualifying offer, for those of us that follow the NFL, it's similar to a franchise tagging a player. It gives you what it is the team is saying, hey, you're our core player. It gives a baseline contract of a fully guaranteed 1-year deal worth a supermax of $1.4 million. Obviously they can negotiate the full terms, but that's the supermax deal right now. They could negotiate whatever deal that they want. Some of the notable players that sorry about that. Some of the notable players that did get the core qualifying offers: Atlanta Dream, Alicia Gray; Chicago Sky, Ariel Atkins; Dallas Wings, Arike Ogumbwe. I hope I said that right, because I love she's great talent. And her sister does great work on ESPN. Anyways, Indiana Fever, Kelsey Mitchell; LA Sparks, Kelsey Plum, my girl Kelsey Plum; Minnesota Lynx, Nafisa Collier, one of the faces of the league, part of the NBA, WNBA PA, that helped negotiate this new CBA that has the 3-on-3 unrivaled league situation. She's a business boss. I'm telling you guys, y'all need to focus in on this WNBA stuff, man. It's worth it. New York Liberty, Sabrina Ionescu; Portland Fire, Bridget Carlton; Seattle Storm, AZ Magbegor. I gotta do better with these people's names. Magbegor. Okay, and the last team to offer a qualifying offer to Toronto Temple, Marina Marbury. But those are the people that just got offered a sheet. Doesn't mean that they signed the max deal. A few players are starting to sign their max deals. 3 players have signed. Nafisa Collier was one of them that just signed her supermax deal. I'll jump to that in a few seconds. But here go a few women that have secured the bag so far. Temi Fagbenley of the Toronto Temple agreed to a 1-year, $1 million deal. The Aces agreed to a $1.19 million deal with Jackie Young. Toronto Temple agreed to terms with their first $1 million backcourt pairing. Marina Marbury and Brittany Skies each agreeing to 2-year max deals, totaling about $2.4 million. It's crazy how it's so amazing to watch a game that I knew had the talent and was going to catch up, and the Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. I'm only saying their name because that's what created this whole phenomenon from college that transferred over, that changed the WNBA. We had stars in the WNBA: Asia Wilson, Nafisa Collier, Lisa Leslie from back in the day. Like there's been stars, but there's something that happens that just changes things. And I said this before, the NBA, Bird and Magic, changed it. They saved it, right? I said this on a previous episode. It took 40 years before the NBA made money, and look at where they're at now. They're global. They're a global league around the world, and their players are generating $50 to $60 million per year. But at one point, those guys were only making $1 million. You know what I mean? Like, there was a time when they was celebrating making $100,000, winning championships. You know what I mean? So we have to give it time, but it's beautiful to see Alicia Gray finalizing a deal with the Atlanta Dream for $3.7 million. These are not the type of deals that was happening before, guys. This is why I'm like excited when I see Jewel Lloyd of Las Vegas Aces agree to a 3-year, $2.2 million. Nice Hamlin agreed to a deal with Atlanta Dream for 3 years, $2.5 million. Arika Mbugwe signed a 7-figure deal with the Dallas Wings, taking less than a supermax, so that the team could continue to build a team that's going to be competitive, right? They're hitting on 2 draft picks so far. You signing a big name free agent. Now go build a team. You know what I mean? Kelsey Mitchell agreed to terms with the Indiana Fever on a 1-year, $1.4 million supermax deal. Elizabeth Williams and the Chicago Sky agreed to a 2-year, $1.2 million deal. Chelsea Gray and the Aces agreed to a 3-year, $3 million fully guaranteed deal. Jordan Canada re-signs with the Dream for 2 years, $1.2 million. Brittany Griner is signing with the Connecticut Sun for a 7-figure deal. Azora Stevens and the Sky agreed to a 3-year deal starting at $1 million with a 5% escalator each year after. Danica Hamby and LA Sparks agreed to a 3-year, fully guaranteed $3.5 million deal. Kelsey Plum and the Sparks agreed to a 1-year, $999,999 deal. Just to the last dollar. Make it $1 million. I don't. Courtney Williams and the Lynx agreed to terms on a 2-year deal, $2.4 million, and the list goes on and on and on. Like I said before, Nafisa Collier is signing a 1-year Supermax deal, making a 3rd player in the league to sign a Supermax deal at $1.4 million to return to the Minnesota Lynx. Listen, it's a great day. It's a great day. I'm seeing $1 million deals go out the door to players that deserve it. You know, you're talking about players that was on their max. You have to remember the super max deal before was $600,000 over years, if I'm not mistaken. So to see somebody's making a 1.4 in 1 year, they earned it. They earned it. The product they play every day. Like Frank says all the time on the morning show, that's one league they play all the time, and they're competitive as hell. You know what I mean? They live the mantra like not everybody friends except for those that are on your team. So yeah, that's what I got for that section right there. I'm ecstatic to see these women getting paid. And I'm excited to see how the league's going to continue to keep growing. It's going to keep ballooning up, and one day there's going to be that double-digit $1 million contract. You know, that $5 million per year situation where you're making $20 million over 4 years. You know what I mean? I'm waiting for those contracts to come. It's gonna be a great day, exciting day. And shout out to all the women that are, you know, they putting in the work to make the product grow. It takes, but we need to help them. We got to go buy those tickets. You know, not for nothing. We could be seeing courtside for under $1,000 now in some of these games. Why not? Let's do it, man. Let's pump the system. Let's pump the system. Let's grow this game and have 2 products that when the NBA season ends, we're right in the swing of the WNBA and not missing a beat. Let's go. All right, let's run down through these scores so we can get to the playoff matchups. Last week, I went 12-5 overall to end the season. I went 113-80 when we started picking games. Thank you, Jesus, because it started rough. If you guys been here with me for a while, it was very rough. It was hard picking these games, but it was in the middle of the NFL season, so to my credit, like I wasn't really watching the games like I should have been watching, to be completely honest. Next season, I'll do better. I'll make sure I have all my league passes and all that stuff so I could make sure that I'm taking care of and watching the games, especially the games that I'm picking. I'm not going to be able to watch every freaking game, not even those that get paid to do this, to watch every freaking game, I assume. But they have great research people. Until I got a good research person that's going to break it all down for me, I'm picking a few games and we're going to talk about that. So Wednesday kicked off. The Cavaliers win at home over the Hawks, 122-116. The Magic get it together at home and beat the Wolves that are sliding in the wrong directions, closing out the season. The Magic won 132-120 over the Wolves. In the return of Cade Cunningham, he in 26 minutes, my man dropped 13 points, 5 rebounds, 10 assists as the Pistons beat down on the Bucks 137-120. The Thunder go on the road and take care of business with another win over the Clippers 128-110. And that was my Wednesday night games. We're gonna breeze through this because we gotta get to the playoff games, baby. Some of this stuff set up the matchups that we see today. Very unfortunate, but that's why we play the games. On Thursday night, we saw the Knicks hold off the Red Hot Celtics at home with a 112-106 matchup in a game that didn't feature Jaylen Brown. I loved it. It's like little psychological games that Joe plays. If we won without JB, it'll be like, man, we beat you without JB. If we lose, man, we didn't have JB. Either way, you have to play this game. You're at full strength. We're not at full strength. Either way the outcome plays, we're still fighting for number 2. Y'all close to it, but I don't see, nobody really saw the Knicks overtaking the Celtics, not the way the Celtics was rolling towards the end of the season when Jason Tatum came back to go alongside Jaylen Brown. And the role players have been playing ridiculous out of their minds as well. The 76ers go on the road and drop one against the Rockets 113-102, while the Lakers roll into Golden State and win a game 119-103. Let's just go right into the Friday night games. The Friday night games, we saw the Celtics beat down on the Pelicans to secure the second seed in the playoffs 144-118. It was supposed to be a gap year, guys. Don't forget that. We were supposed to give up on the season. Jason Tatum's not here. We lost our top 5 of our top 6 players. All you have is Jaylen Brown and Derek White. Well, all we needed was Jaylen Brown and Derek White to hold down the fort. Now JT's back, getting in full stride of things. They playing like he never left all season. And the scarier part is, the Celtics still have another level that they can unlock. JT has another level he can unlock. JB's about to go freakazoid on y'all, because now this is when, in the playoffs, this is when defense really matters. These high-scoring games that we've been seeing all season, man, the high score you're going to get nowadays about 115 will be a high, 115, 112. But you're going to see defense start to clamp up. Teams like the San Antonio Spurs, the Boston Celtics, the Oklahoma City Thunder, those 3, there's the reason why they're the cream of the crop, because they play both sides of the ball. They could bludgeon you to death with threes, they could score at will, and then they play defense that just transitions into easy scores. We know this. This is why I've been saying those are my top 3 teams since God knows how long now, and it has not changed. They might flip-flop you between the 3 of them, but like nobody's overtaking those 3 teams. And to be honest, it looks very scary for the league, because it's literally, you can't discount the defending champs out west, but we see what San Antonio could do, and we see what Boston, once Jason Tatum came back, it was everybody started locking in like front runners, but they've been front runners out here. It was never going to be in no damn gap year. Did I see this? I will admit, and I've been admitted, I did not see this. I did not see second in the East. I did have us top 6. We weren't no playing team, that's for sure. And you can't tell me there was 5 other teams better than us in the East. I was not going to accept that. Not with Jaylen Brown. Not with Derek White. No way. Not with Joe coaching that. But anyways, let's move on. The Pistons go on the road to beat the Hornets 118-100. Hawks get revenge at home, beating the Cavs 124-102, while the Knicks take care of business against the Raptors in a beatdown 112-95. The Nuggets win convincingly against the Thunder 127-107. It has significant. I think, if I'm not mistaken, everybody did play, and the Nuggets needed it more, and they did what they had to do, right? Especially going into the playoffs right now. And the last game of the day was the Wolves finally get a good win against the Rockets, 136-132. And then we had a day off, or a couple days off, and then we saw the last day of the regular season. Oh, These are the days where a lot of teams don't play their players. It's okay. It's fine. It's still a good product for some people that to go see. It's somewhat competitive because you're gonna get guys that are trying to get rotation time, right? They're setting themselves up to show their coaches that they could be trusted in the playoffs. In those, though, your top guy has a couple fouls early that wasn't expected, and now you need to rotate them in. That's why these games are mostly competitive from on the last game of the season. You're not going to see the stars, but it's going to still be somewhat competitive, depending on what team you're going to go see. So let's dive into it. The Magic, who needed to win the game in Boston to host the 7-8 game and then cruise the rest of the way, they'd have some time to rest. If they win that one, they're going to face the Boston Celtics, who already clinched the number 2 seed. You don't have to worry about nothing. You go on the road. You see Boston, you come back home, you're off for about a week, and then you go and back to Boston and try to steal one of the 2 games in the first round. Instead, Boston had other plans. Boston sat their top 8 players. No JT, no JB, no Derek White, no Luka Garza, no Vucevic, no nobody. We had a starting lineup that had Brian Shireman. Hold on. I don't want to. I should have probably had wrote this down, but which never. Yeah. Sunday Celtics box score. Here we go. So the Magic started Paolo, Franz, Wendell Carter Jr., Desmond Bain, Jalen Suggs. Started all their starters, right? And they went deep into their bench. Anthony Black, Javon Carter, and then Boston started Luka Garza, Ron Harper Jr., who we just signed, Baylor Shireman, Jordan Walsh, and Max Shugla. Who else played? Delano Belton. I'm sorry, it wasn't Ron Harper who we just signed. Delano Banton, who we just signed, played in that game, 37 minutes. Amari Williams, rookie, and John Tonje. Those are who played that game. So like I said, no Sam Hauser, no Vucevic, no Neemias Queta, no Payne Pritchard, no Hugo Gonzalez, no JB, no JT, no Derek White. Right? Magic should roll into town, take care of business, and say, see you in a week. Instead, they allow this Boston Celtics roster that I just told you. Now, again, I preface this by saying this is when guys are trying to earn 5-10 minutes on that playoff rotation. Or in one game in a series, right, where they're gonna be needed. You want to show the coach that you're worth the 2-3 minutes. When JT got to sit, JB got to sit. Early foul trouble. Neemias Queta got in early foul trouble. Vooch, we need you. Luka Garza, we need you. You know what I mean? So these are crucial to these guys as well. But it should still be the Orlando Magic winning this game, correct? Wrong. They went and lost that game 113 to 108, where we had guys scoring career highs. Luka Garza, 27 points, 12 rebounds. Ron Harper Jr., 27 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Baylor Shireman, 30 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Career highs in all. Jordan Walsh, 9 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. Everybody was being productive. Delano Banton played great defense in his 37 minutes. John Tonje, 13 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Come on. And you're talking about this is against your starters. At that point, I'm saying, like, man, damn, I wish I was playing y'all in another week. Because that means that I had never liked to disrespect the team and say that it's a sweep until I actually see the sweep. Here's me acknowledging a sweep, gentleman's sweep. That's what I do. In 5, because as a pro team, I believe you can win one game. The sun could shine on you for at least one game. Do people get swept? Absolutely. But I'm more of the convinced time these are professional players and they should be able to win 1 out of 5 games, right? In a best of 7 series. But this Orlando Magic, if they survive in the next round of this play-in and get into the playoffs, well, we'll see what happens. So yeah. And in other news, the Hornets win on the road against the Knicks, 110 to 96. The Nuggets close out the season strong with another key win against the top two team in the West, beating the Spurs 128 to 118. The Warriors drop a close one on the road, 115 to 110, and that's how our regular season ended. Regular season ended. No real excitement. You had tanking teams trying to tank and make sure that they position themselves for the best possible outcomes of this upcoming draft. And then you had other teams that your seating's already locked up. You're really gonna play the guys that you just need to see a little bit more out of. I mean, you got teams that ended up with some of the worst records ever. The Washington Wizards, 17-65. Behind them would be the Indiana Pacers at 19-63. The Brooklyn Nets only won 20 games. Utah Jazz only won 22 games. The Sacramento Kings only 22. Memphis only 25. Dallas 26. New Orleans 26. Chicago 31. Milwaukee 32. Those were the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and whoever, and 10 teams. Those are your lottery bound teams, guys. It's crazy. These are professional teams, but yeah, you guys won't go watch the WNBA players. Y'all crazy. But that's enough on the bad teams. Let's see the final standings on where we ended the season. In the Eastern Conference, Detroit won 60 games on the season. Not to be sneezed at, Detroit was a team a few years ago. 2 years ago? They had the longest losing streak ever. I think it got up to 29 games. And to now say that they're the number one seed in the East, with great potential of actually coming out of the East, right? Matchup dependent. It's hard for me to take them over the Boston Celtics, but crazier things have happened. We lost 2 home games last year. Down, New York came back on us 2 games in a row at home from down 20 plus. So can it happen? Absolutely. I like this Detroit team. I think this Detroit team, when you see young upcoming teams coming up and they're scrappy and they fighting, you gotta like what you see, because they don't know no better, and they got the talent. I think they're still missing a few key things. I think they still need that second scorer, and maybe that developed while Cade was out. Now they know who they could go to, but we'll see what happens, because it's not the regular season anymore, guys. The regular season, I'm playing you this day. I know 3 days out online, I got a marquee matchup coming up. It's not I'm looking past you, but we're not playing our real game plan and whatever. Like, okay, we could drop this one and plan for this one, yada yada. Nah, this time it clamps down. We clamp down. We're playing defense. You got to play schemes. You got to play matchups. We're going to exploit. We're going to be pigeon hunting, So it is what it is. Congratulations to the Detroit Pistons winning 60 games. The Boston Celtics ended up at number 2 with 56-26 record. The New York Knicks ended at number 3 with a 53-29 record. The Cleveland Cavaliers finished with a 52-30 record. Those are your top 4 teams in the East that won over 50 games. Shout out to all of them. Let's round out the rest of the teams. The Toronto Raptors ended up at number 5 with a 46-36 record. The Atlanta Hawks ended at number 6 with a 46-36 record. The 76ers ended up at 7 with a 45-37 record, because the Orlando Magic decided to fumble the bag in Boston on the last game of the season, thus pushing them down to number 8, to now have to go on the road to play Philadelphia 76ers, and to try to get the number 7 spot back, but they ended up at 8 with a 45-37 record. The Hornets finished at number 9 with 44-38 record, and the Heat finished at number 10 with a 43-39 record. Over on the Western Conference, we had the Oklahoma City Thunder winning 64 games. 64-18. The San Antonio Spurs won over 60 games themselves with a 62-20 record. The Denver Nuggets finished with over 50 games with a 54-28 record. The Los Angeles Lakers finished at 4th with a 53-29 record. The Houston Rockets finished at 5th with a 52-30 record. those 5 teams finished with 50-plus games on the season. Congratulations to them. The Timberwolves were right there at number 6 with a 49-33 record. The Suns finished at 7 with a 45-37 record. The Trailblazers finished at 8 with a 42-40 record. The Clippers ended at number 9 with a 42-40 record, and the Warriors rounded them out below 500 at 37-45. And that is your final standings for the regular season in the NBA, y'all. Let's go ahead and jump right into the Lucky 7 top rankings end of season heading into the playoffs. This is my list. A few things have changed here and there, but it's like I said, the top 3 hasn't changed, and surprise, surprise, it didn't change at all. It's still staying the same. A little shuffle down on the bottom. This week's Lucky 7, I got at number 7 coming in. I have the Los Angeles Lakers. I have them at number 7. They could have been higher, but the loss of Luka Doncic, you don't have AR. I don't even know if you make it out of the first round. Unfortunately, you had a great season. If you had the 3 together, I have you moving out of the first, and you probably would have been my 5th or 6th team on this list. Not that much higher up on the list, but I liked what you guys had as a core. But now, well, those 2, I'm a LeBron fan, but I just don't see that happening. You're locked in that. Yeah. So it is what it is. At number 6 on my Lucky 7 top ranking this week, I got it tied. I don't know who I wanted, so I'm just gonna throw them both right in there because they're pretty much the same team to me. The Cleveland Cavaliers and the New York Knicks are my number 6 teams on the Lucky 7s list. If I had to pick one team, I'm gonna go with Cleveland. If I had to pick one, only because the Harden and Mitchell backcourt balances out star power wise, scoring wise. Donovan Mitchell could play a little bit of defense. I like their twin towers that they could put out on the court. They got plenty of shooters around them that could get hot any second. Not as good defensively as the Knicks are, in my opinion. I think the Knicks have more bigger wing defenders for when you come against teams like the Boston Celtics and all that stuff, but we'll see how it all plays out. Coming in at number 5 on my Lucky 7's top ranking list, I got the Detroit Pistons. When you lose your best player and you go on a win streak as if nothing happened, you didn't miss a beat. You gotta crack you gotta come from 7 and up. I do believe the Detroit Pistons are better than those 3 teams that I mentioned before, and I don't know if they're better than the teams that are ahead of them. I think they're ranked perfectly. I think they're a player or 2 away, a big name free agent or something. They're just missing that thing to not make me buy into their number 1, right? I think they're going to have a favorable matchup in the first round, and the way it's set up, you will only have to go through one of the top 4 teams and wait for the Celtics in the finals if y'all match up. So it's not like you got to go through a bunch of juggernauts to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, especially securing that number 1 seed, right? Right now, you're looking at teams that are fighting at the bottom to try to get to you. So, coming at number 4 on my Lucky 7 top ranking list, I got the Denver Nuggets. Not the greatest defensive team, except for Bruce Brown. I love how Bruce Brown gets around up and down the court. But that Joker Murray game, you can't beat it. Aaron Gordon is going to be a difference maker in these series. I think the Denver Nuggets is going to be a team that's going to take some of these top teams to 7 games. And if you let it get to 7, you never know what can happen. So we'll see there. Number 3 on my Lucky 7 top rankings this week is going to be the San Antonio Spurs. They haven't moved. I think they are head and shoulders one of the best teams in the league. They got the biggest cheat code in the world in Wemby, that plays defense and can score anywhere he wants by just, dropping the ball. Literally, he doesn't have to do much, and they could score. I like their backcourt. Then they got more star power in De'Aaron Fox that came over. There's a lot happening in San Antonio. I just don't know if it's enough to knock off the OKC Thunder. But if there's a team that could do it, it would be them. And this is not based off of regular season stuff. It's just matchup wise, it's a tough matchup for them. And I ain't gonna hold you. I'd rather play San Antonio in the finals than OKC. Only because OKC just matches up very well with us, just as much as we match up well with them. But anyways, number 2 on my lucky 7 top ranking list is gonna be the Boston Celtics, and surprise, surprise, number 1 on this list is still the Oklahoma City Thunder. You could flip flop this one, and it wouldn't even matter. You could blink twice. The OKC Thunder, I just think their role players are a little bit deeper, but I trust mine more. Like, they could just keep throwing bodies at us. They could throw different lineups at us. They could throw different schemes at us. And Shea is a cheat code. I think him, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, some of these players, at some point, the game just slows down for them and they see things a whole lot different. And I think Shea has unlocked that since winning the championship. And until you dethrone them, they're the team to beat, right? So that's my lucky 7's top ranking list. And for my finals pick, I still have the Oklahoma City Thunder representing the West and the Boston Celtics representing the East. I could easily see the San Antonio Spurs representing the West, but I still see the Boston Celtics representing the East. This is not me being a Celtics fan. This is just, it is what it is. Matchups are going to matter. And Boston right now has a nice little pathway to the you're talking about, if we go all chalk, Detroit would then have to face Cleveland and we would face the Knicks. I'm not worried. You're not sneaking up on us twice in Boston. I think they're gonna put foot to throat and never let go and go win that series. So let's jump into the playing games that happen, and then we'll call the last one, and then talk about these series that we do know of. So the playing game started on Tuesday night. It started off exciting, like I said before. An overtime thriller, the East 9-10 matchup between the Hornets and the Heat. The Hornets sneak one past at home, 127-126, sending the Heat home literally. The Heat had to travel to Charlotte to play this game. With the loss, they head home and their season's over. With a lot to try to figure out. I think the Heat can be a good team, but they got to figure something out there. Things got a little chippy between the Heat and the Hornet players, thus creating Bam to be ruled out for the rest of the game. Who would have known what would have happened then? That last play, if Bam Adebayo's there, yeah, you might get by Hawkins, but Bam would have been sitting there waiting for you. And does LaMelo Ball get to that the cup as easily as he did in the final seconds of the game, driving and putting that layup up, putting the team up by 1 point, and that was it. That's the ball game with 5 seconds left, no timeouts. The Heat tried to rush to put it up, and it just wasn't enough. In a stunner, their season ended right then and there. The night matchup between the Trailblazers and the Phoenix Suns for the 7-8 matchup. The Trailblazers outlast the Suns 114-110, forcing the Suns to win to stay in as they host a play of the 9-10 matchup out west. That's a little beauty that you have when you're the 7-8 team. You do have the luxury, if you lose, you get to host the next game, whether you was the 7th seed or the 8th seed. You get to host the winner of the 9-10 matchup, and it kind of plays in your favor. But not all the time it works out the way you thought it was gonna be, right? Night 2 brought in another pair of games where the Magic put their season on the line when they go on the road to face the 76ers. They end up losing that game, 109-97, behind the 76ers backcourt of VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey. They set up a first-round matchup against the Boston Celtics. The Magic set up a last-chance effort when they host the Hornets for opportunity to continue to play. The winner will face Detroit in the first round. Magic, when I saw them lose to the skeleton crew of the Boston Celtics, no disrespect to those players, they're amazing role players. I know this firsthand, but you had no business losing that game. Thus putting you on the road to go and host the 76ers. It probably would have been the same outcome regardless, but at least you would have been at home. You had a way better fighting chance. I've told you guys with Edgecombe and Maskey, I love that. I love that backcourt. They're a scary backcourt, and once they figure out the rest of the team around them, they're going to be a dangerous team in Philadelphia. Without Embiid, you still go ahead and lose this. You're at full strength, and again, you drop a ball. So you deserve what you deserve. In the second matchup out west, you saw the Warriors and the Clippers. The Warriors behind the babyface assassin drops 35 points and put the Clippers to bed for the season. Night. With a 126-121 win. The Warriors set up a winner advance situation where they go on the road to face the Suns. The Suns who just lost their game. This is what the play-in. This is why you want to stay out of the play-in, because it's a one-game situation and anybody can get hot anytime. For the Orlando Magic, we already saw that there was some struggles that was going to happen for you guys, regardless. But for the Warriors that are below 500, go in on the road, take out the Clippers, and let's be completely honest. Can they get into the playoffs? So let's jump into Friday night's games, tonight's games. Tonight is the last games before the playoffs actually start. On Prime Video at 7:30 p.m., we have the Magic will host the Hornets for a chance to get into the playoffs to face the Detroit Pistons. That's what you get. That's your grand prize, right? You win, you get to play a series, and you never know what happens. It's a 7-game series. Anybody could make it a series, right? I watched my Boston Celtics get punched in the mouth, go down 0-2 to the New York Knicks, and then we lose Jason Tatum, and that's it. Our season's over, right? In this matchup, I'm gonna take the Hornets. Orlando Magic, you need your season to end now. I don't see. Get this party started. Dear Legacy, please excuse my balls.